Late to the party, but not before all the punch was gone. Still going to be beating Anthony after week 2. Here we go. Oh, boy. This is
Monday.
It is an hour before Monday Night Football.
So technically, we still did this on time.
Week 2 of season 9. So I guess technically we still made week 2, but it's like week 2.5.
Mm-hmm.
And oh boy, it's not looking good for me. Not looking good for me at all.
Oh. It's okay for me. I'm in the majority.
Yeah?
Of 1v1ers.
Okay, so how are things going to shake out as things stand right now, unless I get a miracle tonight? How are things going to shake out for week 2?
Well, for week 2, we're looking to see some haves and have-nots. So for the have-nots, starting off with Brandon.
It's a tough one.
0 and 2.
There's no ants in the world.
Also joining him in 0 and 2, Nick and Gregory. I know for the tagline of the show, Brandon was complaining to Anthony, but Anthony makes the comfortable middle. There's 6 of us, including myself, that are 1 and 1, and then there are 3 halves, and that would be William, Chris, and Brian.
So my whole thing about still beating Anthony is going to be moot in like an hour and a half.
Yeah, because Anthony's going to have a better record than
Oh
you.
my goodness. And I lost Uncle Rob. This is tough.
I know. Rob and
Everybody
and
else.
Anthony have really been our go-tos, and we're really going to have to shake this up. I mean, if we want to talk about complain about other people that aren't just you, because I can talk for most of the show complaining about Brandon, but we're going to have to talk Nick and Gregory.
Yeah.
Indianapolis turns out
It's a bad state. Bad state for football. What are you gonna do? But we do have some peaks of the week for week 1.
So this is a segment we're gonna do every week where we talk about high score, worst loss, best player, and worst player.
And I don't like to look up these numbers beforehand because Amanda does that, and so I'm just gonna react on this. We're gonna see how you all surprise me.
High score going to William,
who I have as my number 3 on the season. That's my projection for you, Will. You're doing well so far. Peak of the week.
Yeah, William got 152.6 points, and he's actually on track to get peak of the week again in week 2.
Jeez.
Yeah, so William going strong.
Bumping up.
Worst loss. Sorry to hear it. But Julie lost to Brian by 42 points.
Woof.
Not the best score.
I'm going up against Brian this week. It's not looking good. He's got a strong team.
Contributing to Julie's worst loss was worst player.
Ooh, hold on. Let me guess. Was it a running back?
No.
Was it a quarterback?
It was a quarterback.
Was it...
There's only one quarterback that did trash in week 1.
Aaron Rodgers.
Aaron Rodgers scored 1.3 points, which technically was not the worst score.
Not the worst score because...
There was 2 defenses that had -1.
There is a certain defense that had -1 in week 1, and in week 2 has 21 points. Can you name the defense? Brian can.
Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Oh my goodness. -1 in week 1 against Dallas.
Did Brian stick with them and play him both weeks?
I believe so.
Oh, yeah,
he
Brian.
definitely played him this week because he got 21 points on the defense. How does that happen?
I also played a defense that got -1, but really, -1 for defense. I mean,
That's bad.
Defense is expected to get you like 10 points or less.
You should get 8 to 12 on a defense.
And so -1 is like 13 delta.
-1. Yes, that's missing a player. That's like a wideout didn't do anything.
But Aaron Rodgers scored 1.3 points. A good quarterback should get you 30 points.
30.
So that is a delta of 30 of where it should have been. So
yeah.
Worst player, Julie. Best player.
Double check.
Best player.
Also
a quarterback.
Also a quarterback. Because I was going to say Amari Cooper week 1 had nearly 40 points.
We had over 40 points.
Over 40. Quarterback.
Was
it Winston with 5 touchdowns?
No one played Winston, so maybe?
Oh, but nobody played him. That was a daring play if anybody did, but I don't think anybody did. Was it...
He was drafted, I think, 3rd overall.
Wasn't Mahomes.
It was not Mahomes. He did well.
Who was it?
It was Kyler Murray.
Arizona Cardinals.
To Chris, scoring 41.6 points.
That's a good pickup.
So that would be our peaks of the week. Sorry, Jolie. But with that, that'll take us to our next segment where we're going to talk about ESPN's final standing projections.
The final standing.
So I'd just like to say that in the final standings projection, with respect to the draft likes to think that girls roll and boys droll because Julie, myself, Sherry, and Jenna all were ranked in the top 4.
Yeah,
And
1, 2, 3, 4, right there.
Right there from the draft. But as you probably can already see, that we're no longer 1, 2, 3, 4. There's been some deviations that go on, and you will find out that this final standings projections are very volatile. So if you feel that you're in the bottom, like Uncle Rob, and
who beat me, so he's not. So he's not actually in the bottom.
You might not stay. You're likely not to stay in the bottom, and you're going to and it can continue to flux. Julie had a excellent text message to the family chat during the week, which showed a snapshot of her plummeting all the way down to 9.
Which is where I am.
So, luckily for you, Jolie, you're back at 4. Pretty respectable, making the playoffs. So this is volatile, but just something to see and not to get afraid about because you can make a lot of changes from the draft.
Yeah, so thing to remember with this is the draft is the draft. It's chaos in one night that William's never at. But that's not your season right there, right? Your season is all of these games that we have to play. And, you know, they've got a playoff projection here, and Williams at 72%, and blah, blah, blah. But everybody is one player injury away from losing a season. And you are one injury away from having that backup that all of a sudden goes crazy and starts loading up points for your team and bringing you back into this. So keep playing. Don't look at these things and be like, oh, like, my name's Gregory. I'm never going to win.
Well, Brandon just doesn't like it because it says 32.
32 is more than enough. 32 is nearly a third. I got that. Gregory. But he's still in it. He's still in it, right? This is so early in the season. You know, it's trying to project things with your players and whatnot. And like I said, one injury can change everything. And one other thing that you need to remember is in this league, there's waiver wires that run between Tuesday and Wednesday. So over the night they run. And we have trading in this league. You can trade players from your team for players on another team.
And one thing about our league is that our league, everybody plays each other once. So if you play someone in week 1 or week 2 or early in the season, you don't have to worry about competing with them again until the playoffs. And if you might not even make the playoffs, what's the real worry about beating them again? So people that you've already played, they are great contenders for you to trade with.
They're great people to trade with. Like, I don't know, maybe in week 2, you're getting your butt handed to you by your cousin. And maybe for some reason he has it out for all of the Raiders and he doesn't like the team, but he's loading up on a great tight end that you really want. And Brian, I swear we should be trading. I would love Darren Waller and I've got some great wideouts.
And Brian, if you do trade with Brandon, you don't have to worry about him beating you or not beating you again.
Because we've already played.
Yeah.
So that's just one example of a trade that you can do there. One of the other things that's...
Also, I think, Brian, if you didn't catch that, Brandon does want to trade for you with Darren Waller.
Yeah, I'm open for tight end trades, people. I've got a lot of wideouts.
Also, speaking to you, Julie, 2 tight ends, Greg Kelsey and Rob Gronkowski.
The Gronk.
Gronkowski. I just looked at first.
I'll trade for that too.
Speaking of Gronkowski and Tom Brady, I looked up a ridiculous statistic today.
Oh my goodness, this is wild.
Tom Brady is more likely to make the Super Bowl, to be a Super Bowl contender, than Steph Curry is to make a single 3-point shot.
Yeah, it beats him by like 4%. It's like 47% for Tom and 43% for Steph Curry.
Yes, Tom Brady's made 10 out of 21 Super Bowls, won 7 of the 10, and Steph Curry only has a 43% three-throw shot.
So
only.
Yeah, only, which is amazing, but like...
Not three shot, I'm sorry, 3-point shot.
Yeah. So, but yeah, seriously, tight ends, send them my way. But one other thing to keep in mind, if you haven't been looking at it, you can see it online under the recent activity panel of here's everything that people are doing. You can see people that are being dropped, like I dropped Ryan Fitzpatrick whenever he got injured, but you can also see people that get picked up. So like Uncle Chris here added Devin Singletary from Buffalo, but he dropped Phillip Lindsay. So maybe these waivers run and you see someone that was dropped and you pick them up because you might think that player is going to be great. Or that was just a terrible player and they got injured. Something you don't see here on the screen, though, but you will see on your phones if you're doing this. On the 16th, Saxville Baggins they actually can post if a player is up for trading. You can actually post on your phones like, hey, I'm willing to trade this player. You can't see it on the computer version, but you will be able to see it on your phones. Another really cool thing that you can't see on your phones, or at least I haven't found it, but I have on the computer, is if you go into players and points against, it'll take you into a page like this, where you'll see teams going down this column here. What this will actually do is you can pick a position like running backs, and then running backs versus the San Francisco 49ers score the most points. On average, a team in the running back position will score 49.4 points against San Francisco, and they'll only score 39 against the Kansas City Chiefs.
Who is really good at stopping the run?
Which means that
Scroll down.
if you want to not gain points in the running game, play your running backs against Buffalo. This is very similar to like is your opponent the first or like the 32nd at it, but it gives you a much better idea of like, holy snap, like 32nd best or 32nd worst, I guess, San Francisco 49ers, 49 points. Your running back's going to score this game, right? They're going to get beaucoup yards in rushing and receiving, which is important because if you've got a receiving running back, you know they're going to be able to load up points for you there.
Also, we're in a PPR league.
And we're in a PPR league, so it matters even more. So this will happen with running backs. You can do this for wideouts. Tampa Bay might have a great defense, but wideouts are scoring points against them. They have a bad secondary.
Or if you're like me and you never really draft a defense and you want to stream, this would be very helpful to see.
What defense do you want?
To be playing against. Last year, I pretty much always just assumed, I think it was the Jets that were the worst. Jets are still pretty bad.
Yeah. So if you want to play a defense and score points, play the Jets. Some of these are still early, so like maybe they're just weird games that kind of shifted the numbers in a way that you weren't expecting. But these are great teams to play if you're streaming defenses, or if you're like William and you've got like a quarterback injury and a terrible draft. You can look at what quarterbacks.
Don't salt William
should
too
you
bad.
be. I know he's winning. He's
2-0.
winning. But if you're looking for quarterbacks to stream at the moment, play them versus the Titans. Mm-hmm. Play them versus Green Bay. Play them versus the Browns. Play them versus the Cowboys. Although that one right there is being obliterated by the GOAT himself, Tom Brady. And then this one's being obliterated by Mahomes. So these things are still a little off right now, but as the season goes, these will shake out, and it'll give you an idea of a good streaming pick, or maybe someone to trade for a week that you really need a big win on. Mm-hmm. Okay? So that's the points against. I've only been able to find it on the computer, but it's a really, really cool thing.
Can't find it on my phone?
I have not found it on the phone. I've been hunting. I actually only found this tonight, so. Okay. Well, with that, do we have anything else for them?
No, I think we're a little late to the party this time, but we're going to be early setting up next week. Or for week. We're planning Thursday.
Planning Thursday for week 3. So come on back. We'll see the peaks of the week for week 2. We'll see just how this is all shaken out. We'll see if I have an amazing comeback with the Green Bay Packers tonight against Brian.
No, wait, no how.
I won't. But we can see, and we will see you later. Adios. Take it easy.